Welcome back to Amateur Game Review. Like always, I'm Zach, but today I'm joined by my sister Ashley. Ashley, why don't you tell them why you're qualified to talk about this game?
Nobody mentioned qualifications. Okay, so today we're going to review Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Usually I'm not in these videos, but today I'm here because I have been playing Mario with Zach since we came out of our mother's womb. So,
Interesting way to put it.
a long time. I could have worded it as her green pipe.
This will be Ashley's last episode. So anyway.
We've been playing Mario 3D World for the Nintendo Switch. We've been playing it pretty hot and heavy for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've played single player, 2-player, 4-player. I do not recommend 4-player.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. And then we played Bowser's Fury a little bit. For those of the fans that don't know, Bowser's Fury is an add-on for the Nintendo Switch to basically make it worth purchasing for the Switch and not just the Wii U.
Yeah.
It's sort of, in my opinion, Zach, a mini game.
Yeah, it's a mini game. It's about a third of the size of like a traditional open world 3D Mario.
Yeah, honestly, not very long. It was fun to play, fun to explore. Little side world.
You just gonna review the whole thing right here in the intro?
Yes, I am.
Okay, keep going.
So what were your thoughts?
Okay. My thoughts are that maybe I should explain a little bit what this game is.
That's a good thought.
Yeah, because Ashley just rambled forever. So anyway, Super Mario 3D Worlds and Bowser's Fury is kind of a port of the original Super Mario 3D Worlds, which came out in 2013. Now, Nintendo has been doing this for a while. The Wii U wasn't super popular, so some of the better games on the Wii U they've been bringing to the Switch. And with this one, they decided to add another reason to buy it, which was Bowser's Fury. And like you said, it's sort of a mini Mario game. Anyway, that is what we are reviewing today, and let's talk a little bit about it. They are packaged together, but they are two separate games completely. When the title screen pops up, you can choose which one you want.
Right.
You do not have to do the thing where you beat all of Super Mario 3D Worlds to play Bowser's Fury, which I really appreciate. So, where they are separate, I want to talk about briefly, let's keep this super brief.
Okay.
Let's talk about each one of them individually, and Super Mario 3D Worlds first.
Okay, Super Mario 3D World.
Gameplay. Give me the gameplay.
It seems your basic Mario platformer in 3D, very reminiscent of Super Mario for the original Super Nintendo, and world concept, onto the next, until you beat all of them. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, honestly, to me, it felt like I was playing Super Mario 3 just with another dimension. It still had the same...
You know what? That's where the D comes in.
I bet that is the third one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And honestly, in more ways than one. Not just side-scrolling, not just the worlds. It had the... when you played Super Mario 3 for the first time and it added, the raccoon tail. And
yes.
there was a bunch of game mechanics where you had to have the raccoon, or a bunch of game mechanics where you had to have the frog in the water. This is the same way.
Thing, yes.
But it added a cat, and there was a ton
of stuff with the cat.
Yes, a ton of stuff. And all good, I thought. All of that part was really cool. The cat part I like.
See, I'm more of a firepower girl.
Okay, well, the fire's classic. That's there.
Right, so I'm more of the classic, I want to burn things down. That's just who I am as a person.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with Mario. That's just your issues.
Yeah,
anyway.
You know what? This is why I'm in therapy. So it really made you take the new mechanic of the cat.
Yeah.
And it forced you to use that mechanic, so you couldn't really rely on your traditional ones, like your fire and your,
Yeah, there was certain parts
star power, etc.
Yeah, there were certain parts of levels that you had to use certain things.
Right.
And that actually is... I'm glad you mentioned that, because that brings me into something I wanted to say, which was every level felt like it had a certain gimmick.
Yes,
absolutely. The one level where every time you jumped, the platforms moved, or the level where you had to use the motion controls to pull platforms in and out. Each level had its own set mechanic that you really had to dive into just for that level. And sometimes they would mix and match some. And I really loved some of those levels, and some of them were a pain in the ass. Especially when you got into multiplayer. And here's where you want to rant. So why don't you go ahead?
Here's where I would love to rant. This game, this is a make or break. This is an Uno. This is a Monopoly. This is a family-ending game. Friendship-ruining, life-altering game. Because if you don't know who you are on that screen, and sometimes it gets a little chaotic.
It does, especially with 4.
It's absolutely chaotic. I can't tell you how many times I threw you off the side, not even on purpose.
I can, 612.
That does seem
I
like
would be
a
running
legitimate
right
number.
for the platform because I have to carry us through the damn level. Anytime we get to something that is like, oh, you have to do these platforms and use the motion, they end up dying a bunch and then being like, okay, we'll just sit here and wait
I'm
for
just
Zach.
gonna bubble through this. We have 2 very different game styles.
Yeah.
I'm on a timer and I've got to go. I want to do all of the stuff. Like,
Oh, this bush over here looks nice. Let me explore it. I
Yes,
wonder if
I wonder
if I ground pound every spot in this game if
Hey,
something will happen.
You know what? That's how you learn things. Okay. We threw each other off the sides a lot.
Oh yes, yours on accident usually, mine in retaliation.
Yeah, and there was a crown. We all wanted the crown. We all, it became competitive in you want to finish the level, and you also want to have the most points at the end of the level to prove to everybody in the room that you are, in fact, the queen.
Basically, yes. And that was to its benefit and its detriment, I think, because it ended up being like we're trying to beat this level together. It does not, after the level's done and we beat it, we can move on to the next one. It doesn't care who won.
Exactly,
But
yes.
at the end of the level, it tells you who got the most score, and then the next level, you get to carry the crown through it. And that ended up with us stealing shit from each other, throwing each other off the thing.
Because that's the way to get the crown. I have to physically take it from you. It's teamwork to get where you want to go, but it's also murder your friends to get the crown. It's very medieval times.
Co-opetition.
Co-opetition is the perfect word.
Yeah. But that basically sums up Super Mario 3D Worlds. It is basically the same game as the Wii U version if you've played it. It's a good game for the most part. It's a good game, and we'll go over our final thoughts at the end. But let's talk pretty quickly about Bowser's Fury, which is completely different.
Completely separate. Completely different, completely separate game. It is a small game like we talked about before. There's no tutorial at all. So you just kind of get thrown in there, but you have the same basic Mario mechanics.
Yeah.
Ground pound, swiping stuff.
It's the same mechanics since like Mario 64, and I think it doesn't really need a tutorial. And that's the thing. This is more of a Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey game.
Right.
This is your next evolution of that, but on a smaller scale.
Much smaller. I did not care for the fact that this game, you have the 4-player option. With the Mario 3D World, you have 2-player option.
Yeah, this was a big negative for me.
2-player option with Bowser's World, or with Bowser's Fury. I'm sorry. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you did?
No, so you always have Bowser Jr. So the premise of this game is Mario and Bowser Jr. is trying to stop his dad from raging.
Well, I mean, in all defense, I would be raging too if I was caught in an oil spill.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, okay, I'll give him that. But you cannot get rid of Bowser Jr. And if you're playing single player, Bowser Jr. follows you around and he helps you out. He does.
Yeah, you can
he
select.
Knocks out some enemies, he'll grab some coins for you, he'll pick some stuff up for you. But the minute you do 2-player and the other person is controlling Bowser Jr., he's either too far away and the camera's messed up, he's either up your butt and every time you jump you get knocked in a direction you don't want to be.
Exactly.
Or in her case, she's yelling at you to follow you, and I can't freaking fly.
Yes, there were some areas where he was very helpful to have like a second player. Like he can get they're like stars.
Yeah,
but they're
yeah.
not
This
stars.
version,
This version,
Cat
this
shines.
game's cat shines. Yes, cat shines. He can get the cat shine for you, and then there was one level where we couldn't even see except where you're standing, and it was just really easy for me to just take Bowser Jr. up and get the cat shine, and we were done.
I will say, though, that it did a very good job of implementing the mechanics from the Mario 3D World, because that's what it does. It implements all of those extra, like, so the cat suit and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it brings that over, and you get to use the same game mechanics, but in a more traditional 3D environment.
That's true. That's true.
Overall, I actually really enjoyed Bowser's Fury quite a bit, as long as you weren't pissing me off.
Oh, that's true.
You know my favorite part of Bowser's Fury before we wrap this up?
What?
Bowser.
But absolutely. So Bowser, you finally, like, they've babyfied Bowser. When we were kids, Bowser was scary.
Well, yeah, I think he was always kind of like a cartoonish character, but it was like we were kids, so he was scary.
No, he was scary. Don't you remember 64? You're running down that hallway after him, and he's like menacingly laughing at you, and his face gets all.
Okay, yeah,
So
I do.
That was
I remember
scary. That was terrifying, and we finally get that Bowser. We finally get the Bowser we were all chasing down the hallway, the Bowser we were all after, big bad, scary ass Bowser.
Yeah, like I said, that was my favorite part. I liked Bowser as the villain in this game. He was really cool.
Right.
But let's wrap it up. So I'll go first here.
Okay.
See how I kind of do things or whatever, and then you follow. So basically, Super Mario 3D Worlds, it is your traditional Mario, just, an extra dimension. You can't move the camera, so it's sort of just like an isometric version of the older 2D Marios, to me.
Right.
But it's great. I enjoyed it. It is difficult if you get into some competitive stuff with friends because it makes it harder to beat the game. It is much easier on single player. And Bowser's Fury, them adding Bowser's Fury in as an extra reason to buy it just kind of pushes it over to the top for me. Bowser's Fury is a really good demo-ish thing. And as a package, I give this an A, a solid A. Maybe an A-, somewhere right in there. Absolutely buy it if you have a Switch. If you had Super Mario 3D Worlds on Wii U, buy it anyway. This is a good upgrade, especially right now. It's went down in price recently.
Yeah. I would have to agree price-wise. Because the price is down, I would purchase it as well.
If you're watching this right now, Nintendo never drops prices on first-party games. So, right before Christmas right now, it's only $40. Jump in. Right.
So, price-wise right now is definitely for me. I would say go for it. Mario, you can't not buy Mario though. It's a classic game. It's always a good game. You're never really disappointed.
Yeah, there never really is a bad mainline Mario game.
Right. And we could rate our favorites. That's for a different video.
Yeah.
It's no Mario Paint, but it's up there for sure. And I really do now. I do like Bowser's Fury. It is a mini game, but you finally get that Bowser that we want. That's still in Princess Peach, but I mean, obviously he was mad about some oil on him, so I don't blame him.
What do you give this game?
I would give this game. I'm gonna give it a B-.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a B-.
She pretty much only played the multiplayer part, so I did expect it to be a little bit more negative than mine.
Yeah. I don't like other people, so it's hard to play with them. I'm just kidding. No, we did have a good time. It really was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And truly, we did enjoy throwing each other off of the platform on purpose or not on purpose. I'll never chill. Those are our thoughts on Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Let us know down in the comments below what you think, if you've picked up this game and played it, if you haven't. Or if because of this wonderful review, you would like to pick up this game. As always, this is Zach. I'm Ashley from Amateur Game Review. Like, comment, and subscribe. Keep up to date on all of our notifications.
She insisted on doing the outro, and it took 37 takes, people. We'll see you in the next video.